Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with your same module, that is Procedural Programming module. In the last class we have discussed about few concepts of this chapter, that is chapter number 16, that is C under the Windows. Today I'm going to continue with the same topic, same chapter. In the last class we have studied about the DOS programming model. In the today's class I'm going to continue with the next topic, that is the Windows programming model. So there is a difference between Windows programming model and DOS programming model. So let's see what is the difference and what are the beneficial impact on the Windows programming model as compared to the DOS programming model. So let's continue with the previous topic or previous class session. So let's take a quick recap of what we have covered in the last class, then continue with the next topic, that is the Windows programming model. So in the last class we have started with the topic, that is a memory management. That is, what is a memory management, how user can or how C programming can manage the memory, that is a memory management. So this says, since users have become more demanding, modern day applications have to contend with these demands and provide several features in them. That is, nowadays there is a more demand. Most users are demanding most applications. Means at the same time more than one applications are executing or running at the same time. So for that sake or for that purpose, there is a need for the memory management. That is, there is a management of the memory. That is, the memory is allocated to the multiple applications at the same time. And this memory management is different in the 16-bit environment and the 32-bit environment. Then we have studied how we are using or how memory will be managed in a 32-bit environment. That is, in a 32-bit environment, address can be stored or address is stored in the registers. That means we can store 2 × 32 unique addresses in the registers at different times. Therefore, we can access 4 GB of memory address using 32-bit registers. So we have studied about these terms in last class. Then we have studied what is the main motto or what is the requirement of the 32-bit register, how the data will be stored in a 32-bit register or a 32-bit address, and how much memory is utilized. That is done by the memory management. That is the memory management. So programs cannot execute straight away from the hard disk. They need to be brought into the physical memory first of all before they are executing. That is, programs are not executed directly, but before they are able to, or they must be going to the physical memory. Then before they are executing. That is, they are not executing from the hard disk only, but before execution they are coming to the, or they are transferring to the physical memory, and then only it is executing. Since there are multiple programs in memory and new programs start executing, and this is the most important line, if this new program needs more memory than what is available right now, then some of the existing program would be transferred to disk in order to free the physical memory to accommodate the new program. This is the most important line. This is the important line. That is, if the new program needs more memory than what is available right now, then some of the existing programs will be transferred to the disk in order to free the physical memory to accommodate the new program. This operation is known as the page out operation. So what is page out operation? Simply transferring the need or transferring the data or transferring the new programs needs more memory than what is available right now, then transferring the existing program to the hard disk so that the space is required, physical memory is required to free so that it can accommodate the new program. This is the example that we have discussed. One is page in operation, one is page out operation. These are the two facts that is required about the paging, about the concept of paging. The first point says part of the program that is currently executing might also be paged out to the disk. That is, program that is currently executing might also be paged out or removed from the disk. Next point says When the program is paged in, there is no guarantee that it will be brought back to the same physical location where it was first or where it was before it was paged out. So this is the next fact, that whenever the program is paged in, that is the transfer it from the disk to the memory, there is no guarantee that it would be brought back to the same location. Why? Because there is no pointer, there is no permanent address. Once they are out, that means that location will be occupied by another program. So this is what I said. There is no pointer, there is no address that is stored. If this page gets paged out and later paged into a different location, then the pointer would obviously have a wrong address. Why? Because address is not permanent in the this one, that is a 32-bit operations. This is the concept, how it will be used. This is the diagrammatical representation. There is a page directory table, that is PDT. Next we have studied the next concept, that is a device access. In simple terms, there is no program, or no program is permitted to directly access the devices. Whenever a program needs to access a device, there is a device driver that is available. For example, CD driver, for example, hard disk driver. So there are various drivers that is available to act as a mediator whenever a program needs to access the device. So that devices cannot communicate, or programs cannot communicate with the devices, but there is a mediator that is known as a driver that is used to access the, or that helps to access the devices with the help of a program. Right. Then we have studied about the next concept, that is a DOS programming model. This is the main concept that we have studied. That what is a DOS programming model? The full form of DOS is Disk Operating System. So this is typical 16-bit environment like DOS uses a sequential programming model. In this model, programs are executing from top to bottom in an orderly fashion. So it is a top to bottom approach. First of all, the upper part will execute, then next part, then next part, then next part, in a proper order, in a proper sequence, in a sequential programming model. The path along which the control flows from start to finish may vary during each execution depending on the input that the program receives or the conditions under which it is running. So it depends on the condition to condition what path they follow, but they follow the top-down approach. That is, the first part will execute, then next part execute, then next part execute, then next part execute. The best example of this model or this top-down approach is main system or main function. What is the main function? That is, first of all, we have started with the, we would start with the main function. That is, every C program starts with the main function. So this is the first part, often known as the entry point, and then call other functions present in the program. If you assume some other input data, you can easily walk through the program from bringing to the end. And this programming model, in this programming model means in DOS programming model, it is the program and not the operating system that determines which function get called and when. That is, it depends on the operating system, or it is the responsibility of the operating system to decide which programs is running, or which function when called, or what is the main role of the functions. All this responsibility is used by the operating system. The operating system simply loads and executes the program and then waits for it to finish. Then we have studied about this one. Unfortunately, the DOS functions and the BIOS function do not have any names. That is, the DOS function, disk operating system, and the BIOS function do not have any names. Hence, to call them, the program has to use a mechanism that is known as the interrupt. That is, for calling purpose, a new mechanism will be used that is known as the interrupt. So interrupt is a condition whenever we use the DOS function and BIOS function for issuing a command or for calling a program or function that is known as the interrupt. Then we have studied about that how programs are directly deals with the hardware. They are dealt with the hardware, with the device by using the two concepts. What are the two concepts? One is DOS, that is disk operating system. One is BIOS, that is the basic input output system. So these are the two concepts that acts as a mediator between the program and the DOS and the BIOS. Figure 16.2 captures the essence of DOS programming model. So this is the figure that shows there is a main function, there is a fun function that is calling. This is the definition of the fun function. This is DOS operating system, that is on execution control transfer to the or transfer control to the program. That is whenever there is execution, the control directly transfer to the or transfer control to the program. Then how to get the DOS functions? By using the interrupt, by using the CPU registers, as well as the BIOS function. Then there is a hardware, that means DOS and the BIOS are used to get the hardware, act as a mediator for accessing the devices, that is a hardware. So there are so many limitations in this model. What are the limitations that we have also discussed in the last class? First of all, no true reuse. That is, there is no reuse of the program. Once the executable file have been made, then that executable will be only for that program. That they could not be used again and again. That is, there is no reusability. Therefore, the same function gets replicated in the server exe file, thereby wasting the precious time space. Then next limitation what we have studied is inconsistent look and feel. That is, the look and feel of the DOS operating system is just like a black screen. So there is no pick and drop facility, that is drag and drop facility. There is no good look, that is this is not user friendly. That is the inconsistent look and feel. The next limitation is messy calling function. That is, there is a hodgepodge calling function. That is, when one function calls another function, there is a hodgepodge or there is a mess. There is a messy calling function. There is a messy calling function. That is also the limitation of this one. That is a messy calling mechanism. This says it is difficult to remember interrupt numbers, registers that are used for communication with the DOS BIOS functions. These are the examples that shows there is an interrupt number, CPU registers like AH, DH, ADL. AH is generally used for the number, service number, DH, that is a row number, DL, that is a column number. Next limitation is hardware dependency. That is, DOS programs are heavily depend on the hardware. That is the DOS is able to use the or DOS are used for the operating system or their hardware dependency. That is, they depend on the hardware on which they are used. That is the next limitation that is used, that is the hardware dependency. So these are the various limitations, like there is inconsistent, not good look and feel. There is a messy calling mechanism, hardware dependency. The next part is your no true reuse. That is, there is no true reuse for the executable files. Now comes to the next concept, that is today's topic, that is the Windows programming model. So till now we have covered so many limitations of the DOS programming model. To overcome that limitations, there is a new concept, that is the Windows programming model. So let's start with the today's session, today's topic, that is the Windows programming model. This is from the perspective of the user. The shifting from MS-DOS to Windows operating system involves switching over to the GUI, that is a graphical user interface from the typical text interface. That is, conversion from DOS to the Windows is very important. Why? Because DOS base is simply text based. We have to remember each and every command, and we have to write each and every command for that purpose. So means there is no provision for drag and drop, that is we can simply click on that one and then it is executing. No, but instead we have to remember each and every command at that time, or for every program. So that is a DOS based system. So it will switch from the DOS to the Windows, that involves or switching over to a GUI, that is a graphical user interface, from the typical text interface, that is a CUI, character user interface, that MS-DOS offers. That is MS-DOS offers various switching techniques, various text interface, that is we have to remember each and every command to deal with the MS-DOS. Another change that the user may feel and appreciate is the ability of the Windows operating system to execute multiple programs, several programs simultaneously. That is, this is one of the important point, that is with the help of Windows we can switch from one program to another program, that is more than one programs are executing at the same time, that is more than one programs are executed simultaneously. Suppose for example, if I'm taking my example, at the same time uh, uh, I may run the YouTube, I may run the Windows operating system, I may run the MS-DOS, sorry, I may run the MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint, means two or three or more, n number of applications I am executing, I am operating at the same time, that is with the help of the Windows. So this is one of the important advantage, that the user required, that is more than one programs are executing at the same time, and switching effortlessly from one to another by pointing at the windows and clicking them with the mouse. That is, whenever I want one application, simply click on that application, that window will be opened. If you want next one, then switch to next one, that window will be opened. In the same way, multiple windows can be opened for that purpose. Mastering this new GUI environment, getting more comfortable with the multitasking feature is at the most a matter of week or so. That is, we have to deal with, or we have to adjust with the GUI, that is graphical user interface, with the multitasking environment, with the multitasking feature, that is more than one task is executing at the same time. However, from the programmer's point of view, programming for Windows is a whole new ball game. That is, whenever we have to execute the program using Windows, that is a new concept, that is not drag and drop simply, but that is a new concept, that is a new ball game. That is, next point says Windows programming model is designed with a view to, that is Windows programming model is designed to support all the points, or to support or offers various advantages. The first point says it eliminates the messy calling mechanism of DOS. That is, there is no messy calling mechanism, that one part is calling the next part is calling the next part, that is, there is no messy calling mechanism. So it eliminates, or it removes the messy calling mechanism of the DOS. Then second point says permits true reuse of the commonly used function. That means it overcomes all the limitations of the DOS programming model. That is, it permits the true reuse of the commonly used functions. Then it also provides consistent look and feel for all the applications. Then it eliminates hardware dependency. That is, it also eliminates the hardware dependency. That is, no application is dependent on the hardware. That is, they can also run without any hardware, or that is not depend on the hardware. Suppose I am executing one program, it will execute on my laptop, my desktop, your laptop, your desktop, at any point of time. That is, they are not dependent on only one laptop, that this program is executing at only one system. No, they are not depending on the hardware. Now let us discuss how Windows programming model achieve all these points. That is, how this all this mechanism will be used, or all these points will be achieved by the Windows programming model. The first point is better calling mechanism as compared to the DOS programming model. How it will be used? So this says, instead of calling functions using interrupt number and registers. That is, instead of calling the function using interrupt number and the registers, Windows provide functions within itself which can be called using names. That is, Windows provide various functions within itself which can be called using names, which can be used or which can be called using the names. These functions are known as the API, that is Application Programming Interface. So these which functions that provides or Windows provides various functions that will be used with the using the names. That functions are known as the API, that is Application Programming Interface functions. There are literally hundreds of API functions available. They help an application to perform various tasks such as creating a window, drawing a line, performing file input output, etc. So various functions are used, and with the help of various functions we can execute multiple programs, creating a new window, drawing a line, performing file input output, and there are so many usage of this better calling mechanism or better calling mechanism. So one function is used, that is the application programming interface. We can call any function at any point of time with the use of the API. The next point or the next point in Windows programming model is the best or the true reuse. That is, there is a true reuse of the concept that is used in the Windows programming model. This says a C under Windows program calls several API functions during course of its execution. That is, whenever we execute the C program under Windows program, that calls several API functions during course of its execution. Imagine how many disk space would have been wasted had each of these functions become part of the exe file of each program. That is, whenever we execute multiple programs, how many, or there are so many executable files, exe files, that will be waste for each program. That is, there are so many executable files that are made, but they cannot run without help of the or without uses of the next part. To avoid this, the API functions are stored in a special file that have extension .dll. So to overcome this limitation or to avoid the limitations of the exe files, the API functions are stored in a special file, in a special data that is known as the .dll, that is Dynamic Link Library. In the next paragraph, it stands for Dynamic Link Libraries. A DLL is a binary file. This is the most important. How the code will reuse. All the executable file data will be compiled into one file that is known as the DLL, that is Dynamic Link Library. That is a binary file that provides a library of functions. Library of function means collection of various functions. The functions present in DLL can be linked using or during execution. That is, the function that is present in DLL can be linked with each other during the execution. These functions can also be shared between several applications that is running in the Windows. Since linking is done dynamically, the functions do not become part of the executable file. That is, DLL is used to collect various functions, to collect various data, and linking is done dynamically, the functions that do not become part of the executable file. As a result, the size of the exe files does not go out of the hand. It is also possible to create your own DLLs. That is, we are also able to create our own DLL so that it will be used for the dynamic link libraries. You would like to do this for two reasons. That is, if I am saying that I will create my own DLL, what is the main reason? That is sharing common code between different executable files. That is, suppose there is a single code that will be used for so many programs. So many programs means 2 or 3 programs. In such a case, sharing of common code means that common code, for example, addition code. So sharing of common code between different files is also achieved whenever I create my own DLL. I pick that code from the DLL and use in the one program. Again, if there is a requirement, I use again that the common DLL code and fit into the next program. This process goes on repeating uh, multiple times whenever I need a different executable file, different common code. Next reason why we are or why we are able to or why we are interested to create our own DLL. The second reason is that breaking an application into component parts to provide a way to easily upgrade application component. That is, we can also divide, or whenever we combine into DLL, we can also break an application into various component parts to provide the easy way to upgrade application components. So these are the two reasons why we are creating our own DLL. The Windows API functions comes in 3 DLL files. What are the 3 DLL files? And this list file name along with the purpose. This is the figure that shows the 3 DLL file that is used. This is the most important figure. The first part says the user32.dll. That is, user32 is the name of the file and .dll is the extension. So this is the user.dll. That means the name of the file is user32 and the extension is .dll. This means this is a DLL file. What does it contains? That is a description. The description is that it contains the functions that are responsible for Windows management. That is, whenever we need, or this contains the various functions, or this contains various functions that are responsible for the Windows management. That includes menus, cursor, communication, timer, etc. So this DLL contains various predefined functions that we can use, or that I can use at various places. So that contains the functions that are responsible for Windows management, like window management means look and feel of the windows, that is, that includes menus, cursors, communication, timers, etc. The next part of DLL is GDI32. One is user32. Why it is 32? Because it is, or I am considering the 32-bit environment, 32-bit operating system. The next part is GDI32.dll. That contains a function for graphics during drawing and painting. For example, there is a graphic card that is used for the graphics. So every graphic concept, for example, go to XY, that is a graphical function. That function is also stored in GDI32.dll. So whenever there is a requirement, or whenever there is a requirement of the function that is used for drawing the images or painting, anything that can be done by, or that function will be stored in the GDI32. Then next part is kernel32.dll. that is, or that captures, or that contains the functions to handle the memory management. So this kernel is, or kernel32 is used for the memory management. Memory management means everything that is related to the memory that can be handled by the function that is known as the kernel32. So there are 3 functions. One is user32, one is GDI32, one is kernel32. User32 means for the look and feel of the windows, whatever the look and feel like menus, cursor, communication, that is stored in the user32. GDI32 means every function or any function that is used for drawing, for calculation, for painting, that is stored in the GDI32. Kernel32 means every function that is related to the memory management, that covers under the kernel32.dll. So these are the 3 DLLs that is used in the Windows, or that is used in the C whenever we execute the programs of the C under the Windows. Now the third part is your consistent look and feel. That is how Windows programming model provides the consistent look and feel of the C program. That is how it provides the consistent look and feel. This point says consistent look and feel means that each program offers a consistent and similar user interface. Consistent means a same. That is, every program provides the proper indentation if necessary. Every program provides a clear screen. That means there is a consistent, there is a same or similar user interface, that is a consistent and similar user interface, that is known as the consistent look and feel. As a result, user does not have to spend long period of time mastering a new program. That is, user does not have to spend more time or long period of time mastering a new program. Every program occupies a window, a rectangular area on the screen. A window is identified by the title bar. That is, there is no different window for each program. No, there is a same user interface. There is a consistent user interface, but every program is different. That the program name is executed or displayed on the title bar, or that was identified by a title bar. Most program functions are initiated through the program's menu. The display of information too large to fit on a single screen can be viewed using scroll bar. So this is just a look and feel, that how Windows can be look and feel, or that is a consistent look and feel, that is a similar look and feel. That is how the scroll bar will be used, title bar will be used, program menus will be used. So this says some menu items invoke dialog boxes also, that is allows the user to enter the additional information. This is the look and feel, like dialog boxes, scroll bar, title bar, status bar, dialog launcher. One dialog box is found in almost every Windows program. That is, in every Windows program, at least one dialog box will appears. It opens up file for the C program. This dialog box looks the same in many different Windows programs. That's why it is known as the consistent look and feel, and it is almost always invoked from the same menu option. Once you know how to use one window program, you are in a good position to easily learn another. That is, if you are able to learn one window program easily, then you are able to capture next program also in a good working condition, or in a good position to easily learn another. The menus and the dialog boxes allows user to experiment with the new program and explore its feature. That is, the menu and dialog boxes are helps to provide the easy or the better look and interface, and provides a keyboard interface, mouse interface. Although most functions of Windows program can be controlled through the keyboard. That is, most of the functions can be controlled using the keyboard. Using the mouse is often easier for many chores. That is, mouse is also used as an easiest way for Windows programming model. That is a consistent look and feel that is provided by the Windows operating system. From the programmer perspective, the consistent user interface resulting from using the Windows API function. What is the API? That is the application programming interface. So from the programmer's point of view, from the programmer point of view perspective, the consistent user interface, that is the similar user interface, is provided by the Windows that uses the API for constructing the menus and the dialog boxes. As I told you, consistent look and feel means there is the same dialog boxes, similar dialog boxes, similar menus that can be provided by the API. That is application programming interface for constructing the similar menus and similar dialog boxes. All the menus have the same keyboard and the mouse interface because Windows rather than the application program handle this job. So this is how it will be used, how it will be, our menu will have a same type of keyboard, mouse interface, same type of windows rather than the application program. The next point is hardware independent programming. That is the next feature of the Windows programming model is the hardware independent programming, not dependent, hardware independent. That is, they are not dependent on, they are not depending on any hardware. That's why it is the hardware independent programming. This says, as we saw earlier, a Windows program can always call Windows API function. That is, a Windows program can always use Windows API functions. Therefore, an application can easily communicate with API, operating system. That is, an application can easily communicate with the operating system. What is new in Windows is that the operating system can also communicate with application. That is, what is new in Windows means, what is new in the Windows operating system is that the operating system can also communicate with the application. Let us understand why it does so with the help of an example. Why operating system communicate with the application instead of the device driver? Why there is a direct communication between the OS and the application? Now let's see with the help of an example. Suppose we have written a program that contains a menu item which on selection is supposed to display a string hello world in the window. Suppose I wrote one program that contains a menu item which on selection means whenever we select, it is supposed to display, or it is going to display a new string that is known as, for example, hello world in the window, right? The menu item can be selected either using the keyboard or either using the mouse. On executing this program, it performs the initialization and then wait for the user input. I'm repeating again, this program simply contains a menu driven. That is how the operating system deal with an application. This is an example, right? So this is, suppose there is a program that contains a menu item. Menu item means there is a display of the various options on which on selection is supposed to display a string. That is, when we select a menu, it will display a string. What is the name of the string? That is hello world in the window. The menu item can be selected either using the keyboard or using the mouse. So that menu item can be selected either using the keyboard or either using the mouse. On executing this program, it will perform the initialization and then wait for the user input. That is, whenever we execute or whenever there is an execution of the program, it will perform the initialization and then wait for the user input. That is, input is provided by the user. Sooner or later, the user would press the key or click the mouse to select the menu item. This key press or mouse click is also known as the event. That is, whenever we click with the mouse or using the keyboard, that process or that part is known as the event in the Windows programming model. Why? Because there is a consistent look and feel, so every part is the same. So it is, whenever we click on any item, that is known as the event. The occurrence of this event is sensed by the keyboard or mouse device driver. That is, whenever we click on the mouse or we click with the mouse or we press with the keyboard, so that occurrence is sensed by the keyboard or the mouse, depend on the device by which we are giving the input. It may be a keyboard, it may be a mouse. So this can be sensed by the keyboard or the mouse device drivers. The device driver will now inform Windows about it. Now it is a responsibility for the device driver, that is, for example, the mouse driver or the keyboard device driver, to inform the operating system. Inform the operating system, for example, Windows. Windows would in turn notify the application about the occurrence of this event. That is, Windows In turn means now it is the responsibility of the Windows to notify the application about the occurrence of this event. That means first of all the occurrence of the event, whenever we press something, that occurrence is provided by the keyboard or the mouse. Now the device driver informs the event occurrence of this event to the Windows, that is a message. This notification is known as the message. Therefore operating system has communicated with the application. So this is also an indirect communication, but at the last or at the end there is a concept that operating system communicate with the application. How? First of all, whenever we press something, that can be detected by the device driver, that then device driver informs the operating system, then operating system notify the application. So first of all there is a device driver, then there is a Windows, then there is a application, right? Therefore the operating system has communicated with the application. Next point says, when the application receives a message, it communicates back with the operating system by calling a Windows API function to display the string, that is hello world, in the window. That is, whenever an application receives the message, it or receives any message, it communicate back with the operating system by calling a Windows API function to display the string, for example hello world, in the window. This API function in turn communicates with the device driver of the graphic card. So there is a indirect communication. First of all, whenever we press something, that will be gone to the device driver gone to the OS, Windows go to the application. Now whenever an application receives some message, it communicates back to the operating system by using the API. This API communicate with the device driver to display the content, to display the string. So there is a two-way communication between the OS and the application. What is the two-way communication? OS can also communicate with the application, and application can also communicate with the OS. And there are some mediators like device drivers, API. So these are the various mediators, but at last the output is OS communicate with the applications, and applications can also communicate with the OS. That will be represented by using the figure. This is the figure. This, first of all, there is an application, then there is an API code, then this is the message, this is one arrow, this is one arrow. First of all, there is a hardware that will be pressed. This goes to the device driver, this is the one arrow, this goes to the Windows, then goes to the application. So there is hardware, device driver, Windows, application. There is a message. Whenever there is an application, that will be called back by using the API with the Windows, then goes to the device driver, then goes to the hardware. So this is the whenever OS wants to communicate with the application, this bottom to top approach will be followed. And whenever there is a concept of the application to the OS, that is, there is a concept whenever application respond back to the hardware, that will be done by using these arrows. That is this one, API, Windows, device, hardware. Suppose the keyboard and the mouse are now replaced with the new keyboard and mouse. This is the example. Now there is a concept that or there is a new term that comes, that is, for example, the keyboard and mouse will be replaced by new keyboard and mouse. Doing so would not affect the application at all. This is because at no time does the application carry out any direct communication with the devices. That is, suppose I replace my keyboard, mouse, and anything, any hardware device, that does not impact on the communication. Why? The main reason is that Windows operating system communicate with the application, not the device drivers directly. So this is the main advantage. This is because at no time does the application carry out direct communication with the devices. As I told you, any differences that may be there in the new set of mouse and keyboard would be handled by the device driver and not by the application program. So if there is any differences in the device driver on the mouse and keyboard, that will be occupied or that will be used or that will be handled by the device driver, not by the application. Similarly, if the screen or the graphic card is replaced, no change will be required in the program. Suppose we change the application, we change the graphic card, so the same concept will follow. That change will be reflected with the, or change is used with the device driver, not with the this one, not with the application program, not with the hardware. In short, hardware independence at work. That is, the application is not depend on the hardware. That is, that means application is not depending on the hardware, but the Windows is depend on the hardware. That is, Windows directly communicate with the application. That is, application does not depend on the hardware because there is no direct communication between the application and the device drivers. At times, a change of device may necessitate a change in the device driver program, but never a change in the application. That is, at some point of time, whenever we change an hardware, there is a change in the device driver programs, not in a change in the application. That sometime, that is out of 100%, out of 50%, there is a change in the 2%, but that will not necessitate, but that will not affect the application. So in short, these are the various advantages of the Windows programming model. That is how Windows programming model is done. That is how Windows programming model is done. What are the advantages? So every limitations of the DOS of programming model, every limitations like messy calling mechanism, inconsistent look and feel. So every limitation of the DOS programming model would be replaced by the advantages of the Windows programming model. That is, that limitations are removed and provided as the advantages of the Windows programming model, like consistent look and feel, hardware independent, there is a better calling mechanism, there is a true reuse. So these are the various advantages of the Windows programming model. So let's take a break at this time, then move to the practical approach, not with the theory approach, move to the practical approach after the break. So let's take a break and then move to the practical approach after the break. So let's take a break. Now let's start with the session. So come back from the break, starting with the session. We have covered till now what is the Windows programming model, right? What are the pros, like what are the features of the Windows programming model, why we are using the Windows programming model, and what are the advantages of Windows programming model. What all this we have covered in the session. Now I'm going to continue with the practical approach, how the programs are executing in a practical way. So let's start with the practical approach. So my target is to show you nested for loop. That is how we are using the nested for loop. That is, nested means one in within the another. That is how to use the nested for loop. So let's start with the header files. The same header files are used. That is hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h. Why we are using the conio.h? Because I have to use the function that is the getch, and getch is the function that is stored in a library file, that is stored in a header file, that is the conio.h. The full form of STDIO means the standard input output, and the full form of CONIO is common input output. That is the STDIO and the CONIO.h. Now using the void main, that is the main function, that is void main, that is the first function, then uses the curly braces for this one. Now using three variables like int a, b, and now for example subtract. Then so this means after declaring the variables, I have to use the clear screen if I want to clear the screen. This is not used before declaring the variables. No, it is used after declaring the variables. That is CLR, SCR. Now uses the for loop. That is for example, I'm used A and B. For example, A equals to 1, then there is a semicolon. So A equals to 1 means no, I have to subtract. So A 3. So this A equals to 3 means this is the initialization. Next, checking the condition. This is used when the A becomes 1. That is, this will be used for 3, for 2, for 1. Then there is a minus minus. Now this is a decrement. So till now we have covered 1, then check for the condition for the maximum, then plus plus. This is the reverse of that. We have taken the maximum, the loop will go till the minimum 1, and there is a minus minus means every time it will be decrement. Then this is the outer loop. So here I write this is the outer for loop. For example, this one, that is the outer for loop. Right. This is in semi comment, so it will not executed by the user. Now again I am using one for loop, that is b equals to, for example, 1, only 1. Then b is less than equals to 2. Then b plus plus, because this is a simple loop, incremented loop, so this is b plus plus. Now again uses the three variables. One is then uses the do for loop. Now let's see what is the output. First of all, this is 3. A equals to 3. The condition is true, that is 3 is greater than equals to 1. Yeah, condition is true. Why? Because 3 is bigger than the 1. Then a minus minus, forgot this thing right now. Then comes to the inner for loop. Now the b value is 1. Condition checked. A 1 is less than equals to 2. Yeah, condition is true. 1 is smaller than the 2. Then b plus plus, forgot for the this time. So first of all, a is 3, b is 1. So this is 3 minus 1 is 2, right? So the output is 2. Now output will be printed by using this one. Now cursor goes to this one, again go to this part only for the inner loop. Now the b value becomes 2. Why 2? Because there is a b plus plus. Now the b value becomes the 2. Again check the condition. 2 is less than equals to 2. Yes, condition is again true because 2 is equals to the 2. Then go to the sub equals to a minus b. The a value remains the same, that is a 3, and the b value becomes a 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So this will be printed from this one with the help of this one, that is 3 minus 2 is 1, right? Again go to this part. Now b becomes 3. 3 is less than equals to 2. Condition is false. Whenever the condition is false, the cursor moves to the outer loop. Now this becomes vanish, that is this is the starting phase. Now this becomes 2. Why 2? Because there is a minus minus. First of all, a is 3, then a minus minus means decrementing the value of a by 1. So now 3 becomes 2. Now check the condition. 2 is greater than equals to 1. Condition is true. Why? 2 is more than the 1. Condition is true. Go to this part. Now a has a value 3, b has a value 1. Why 1? Because this is the starting phase. 1 is less than equals to 2. Condition is true. Then go to this one. Now a has a value 2, b has a value 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. That will be printed over here. Now again go to this part. This becomes 2. So this is 2 is less than equals to 2. Condition is true. Now a has a value 2, b has a value 2. So the output is 0. Now let's see the output. Till now we have covered with fourth one, that is 2 2, that is the 0, right? Now again go to this part. Now b becomes 3. 3 is less than equals to 2. Condition is false. Why? 3 is not less than equals to the 2. Not equals to, not less than equals to, right? So the condition is false. So the cursor moves to the next part. Now a becomes 1. Why? Because this is a minus minus. First of all, it is 3, then 2. Now this becomes 1. Now check the condition. 1 is less than equals to, or 1 is greater than equals to 1. This is equals to. Condition is true. Now go to this one. Now again this is b equals to 1. Condition is true. Go to this one. Now a has a value 1, b has a value 1. So the output is 0. Again go to this one. 2 is less than equals to 2. Condition is true. A has a value 1, b has a value 2. So 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So this will be printed as a minus 1. Again go to this one. B is equals to 2. B is equals to 3. Condition is false. Again go to the this one. Now a becomes 4. Look over here. This is the important concept. Now a becomes 4. Why? First of all, this is sorry. A becomes not 4. A becomes 0 because it is first of all 3, then 2, then 1. Now a becomes 0. Now check the condition. 0 is greater than equals to 1. No, this is not true. So this will not executed and this will terminate the condition. This loop will terminate and the output will be displayed like this one. So this will terminate the loop and bring out from this loop and uses this line get ch for printing the output. So this is the output. First of all, a is 3, b is 1. The output is 2. A is 3, B is 2, then output is 1. A is 2, B is output is 1. A is 2, B is 2, output is 0. A1, B1, output is 0. A1, B2, so the output is minus 1. So this is the concept how it will be used. So any doubt anyone in this program? My question is to all of you. Any doubt anyone in this program? My question is to all of you. Any doubt anyone in this program? Yes? Clear? Okay, thanks. Now, now let's see another program. Yes? Pardon? Okay, just a minute. Now it's visible? Hello, now it's visible? Hello, now the screen is visible to you? Okay, okay. Now let's see another program. Suppose I have to print the asterisks. Suppose my target is to print the asterisk in the pyramid form, right? In a pyramid form, in a triangle form, like this one. So let's see. In a triangle form, for example. So first of all, one header file is used, that is stdir.h. Then use conio.h. Then uses the void main. Then uses the curly braces for this one. Now declaring the variables as 3-1, like int xij, right? Then clear the screen. Then uses for loop, two for loops, that is 4. First of all, uh, after this one you will get the input from the user, that is how many lines you want for the printf, that is how many lines the star will be printed. Stars, that is for example asterisk, should be printed. This I'm taking from the user. then uses the for loop, or first of all scan also by using the scanf, then percentage d ampersand x for example, then uses the for loop for this one, that is for I equals to 1, then I is less than equals to x, then I plus plus, then uses the curly brace over here, then uses the for loop, then uses the j equals to 1, again uses j is less than equals to I. Now this is, both the loops are related with each other, I then j plus plus, then uses the curly brace for this one. Now printf will be used for printing the asterisk, right. Then this for loop will be closed, then uses the in the next line, that is printf, then uses the slash n for next line, then uses this for loop for this one, then uses this for loop for this one, uses get ch for output, and then closes the void main function. Now if I compile this code, there is no error. If I execute this code, how many lines? Suppose I have to, or I will, this is in the 4 lines. Now this will be in the rectangle. First of all, in the first line there is only 1 star, then there are 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. If I have given the lines as a 6, so 5, 6 and so many lines. For example, like this one, how many lines? Suppose I want 8 lines, so this will be printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the 8th line there are 8 stars, in the first line there is single star, 2 stars, 3 stars. So this becomes a triangle over here. So this is the most important program of the C programming language, that how this pyramid, how this rectangle will be printed by using the stars, by using the asterisks. Now let's see how it come, or what is the, what is the advantage, or what is the usage, or what is the crux of this program, how this star will be printed. First of all, declaring the two header file the same way, that is include stdi.h, include conio.h, right. Then uses the void main function for the main entry gate, then declaring the 3 variables as a x, I, j. So there are 3 variables, one is x, one is I, one is j. Now clear the screens, then uses the printf for taking the input from the user. So this is user defined functions. Take the input from the user by using the printf, that is how many lines, that is in how many lines you want the star to be printed. So it depends on the user. If the user gives 5, so in the 5 lines the star will be printed. If the user gives 4, in the 4 lines the star will be printed. So this is not predefined. Suppose I have to make the predefined, simply I have to declare the variable of value of the variable, that is x. For example, x equals to 4. If I want, but if I want from the user, so this program becomes user defined, and we will get the input from the user. Now sorry, now the input will be captured by using the now the input will be captured by using the scanf, by using the variable like x, using the scanf. So this scanf is used to capture the data and store in the memory. So this printf and scanf is used for making the program user dependent or user defined programs. One is printf, one is scanf, right. Then one for loop is used. The first for loop start with the I, that is I equals to 1, I is less than equals to x, I plus plus. So first of all there is I as a value 1, Then check the condition. For example, here the user write the lines as a 4, that is x has a value 4, that is user has given the input as a 4, that is he or she wants the star to be printed in the 4 lines. So check the conditions. 1 is less than equals to 4. Yeah, condition is true. Then go to inner loop. Now j has a value 1, right? Check the condition over here. J is less than equals to I. Now j has a value 1, I has a value 1. 1 is less than equals to 1. This is equals to. Condition is true. The star will be printed. The 1 star will be printed. Then go to this one. Then move. Whenever the cursor moves to this one, again cursor goes to this one. Now the j becomes 2. This is 2 is less than equals to 1. Why? Because this is till now this is 1. Because first of all the inner loop will terminate, then only go to the outer loop as I told you. So I has a value 1, j has a value 2. So condition is false. Why? Because 2 is not less than equals to 1. So this loop will terminate and go to the next line. This will execute, that is moves to the next line. Cursor becomes over here. Now the cursor again goes to this one because this will terminate by getting the condition, that is j equals to 2. So moves to the next line and moves to this one. Now the I value becomes 2. Again check the condition. 2 is less than equals to 4. Condition is true. Again moves to the inner loop. Now j has a value 1. So this is 1 is less than equals to 2. So 1 is less than, that is 1 is smaller than the 2. So condition is true. Simply prints the 1 star over here. So simply print 1 star. Then there is a closing curly braces. Again moves to this one. Now j becomes 2. So 2 is less than equals to 2. Now I has a value 2. So this is equals to 2. Again the condition is true. Again 1 star will be printed. So in the second line there are 2 stars that is printed. Again go to this one. J is 3. 3 is less than equals to 2. Condition is false. Moves to this line, that is jump to the next line. Go to this one. Again go to this one. That means after getting 3, this loop will terminate. So this loop will terminate after getting 3. Then moves to this part. Again moves to this part. Now I has a value 3. Again check the condition. 3 is less than equals to 4. Condition is true. Now again go to the inner loop. The j becomes, now j has a value 1. Now check the condition. 1 is less than equals to 3 because I has a value 3. So this is true. So this will execute for the 3 times. Why? 1 is less than equals to 3. This will print at the first time. Again go to this one. J becomes 2. 2 is less than equals to 3. Condition is again true. 1 star will be printed. Again go to this one. J becomes 3. 3 is less than equals to 3. Condition is true. 1 star also printed. So in the third line there are 3 stars that will be printed. Now the j becomes 4. 4 is less than equals to 3. Condition is false. Why? Because 4 is not smaller than the 3. Condition is false. So this star will not be printed. Moves to the next line by using this one. So this loop will terminate when j equals to 4. So in the third line 3 stars will be printed. Then after getting this curly brace, cursor again moves to this one. Now I has a value 4 because this I becomes I plus plus. First of all it is 1, 2, 3. Now it becomes 4. So check the condition. 4 is less than equals to 4. Condition is true because it is equals to. Again moves to next part, inner loop. Now j has a value 1. Check the condition. 1 is less than equals to 4. I has a value 4. 1 is less than 4. Condition is true. Print 1 star. Again j becomes 2. 2 is less than equals to 4. Print 1 star. Again j becomes 3. 3 is less than equals to 4. Again print 1 star. 4 is less than equals to 4. Condition is true. Print 1 star. Now j becomes 5. 5 is less than equals to 4. Condition is 4. This loop will terminate and moves to the next line. Moves to this part. Now moves to this part. Now I has a value 5 because first one it is 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Now it becomes 5. Then check the condition. 5 is less than equals to 4 because user input the number as a 4. If it is 5 is less than equals to 4, condition is 4 because 5 is more than the 4, not the less than the 4. So the condition is 4. This loop will terminate. This loop will never execute. So the program will terminate and the output will be displayed in the 4 lines. In the first line there is single star, second line 2 stars, third line 3 stars, fourth line 4 stars. How it will be divided into different lines by using this statement, that is a printf slash n. So this is the output of this one. If I compile this code again, the same example 4, so the 1 2 3 4. So it depends on the user, that user gives the input. Now suppose I have to make this program as a predefined. So I have simply use the 4 over here. If I again compile this code, the 4 line will be printed. In this there is no usage of the or not getting the input from the user. Simply give the input in a variable form. Suppose I have given x equals to 7. If I compile this code, the 7 lines will be printed. So this is predefined. Now if I rotate this one, this is user defined. Predefined means whenever we give the input in the variable, that is a predefined. User defined means whenever we have to fetch the input from the user. Now this program is clear to all of you. This program is clear to all of you. Hello. Yeah, this program is clear to all of you. You're awesome. Okay, clear. Both the concepts are clear, predefined as well as a user defined. Okay, okay. Any other doubts? So I'm finishing this session over here only. In the next class, I'm going to start with this one, that is a event-driven model. That is, what is the event-driven model? How it will be used in the C programming. So that's all for today's session. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I got some presentations, some PPTs for the computer system, but some are missing, some are in another laptop. So I have to take that presentation with the help of the pen drive and clutter one into one folder. Okay, and then yeah, sure. Means I got that file, I got that PPT. There is no issue. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, why you are not attending the class tomorrow? You will not attend the class tomorrow. Okay, same to you. Merry Christmas. Okay. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me. Bye bye. And in the tomorrow's class, I will be attending. I will be taking your new session, next session, that is a event-driven model. Thanks a lot. If you have any doubts, then please text the doubts. Bye bye.